Hey guys, Ike here from Mike'sOutdoors.com. I'm here today to do a review on the Disruptor Pro 24 from Gearhead Archery. Okay, so a couple caveats before we start this. I'm going to run through the specs, I'm going to run through the features of this bow, we're going to run through the chronograph on it, we're going to run through me shooting it, and I'll give you some close-up views of this because it's such an unusual bow. We want you to see it up really close. So we'll do all that. The caveat is on a speed test. This cam has 3 different settings on it. It has an A, it has a B, and it has a C. And the C is for a more aggressive draw cycle and faster speeds. So this bow is set on B, which is their middle of the road setting as far as smoothness and speed goes. And with that, you're going to get a reduction in the speeds of this bow. So this bow should be getting around 290 feet per second set up the way it is at 65 pounds, 27.5 inch draw, and 20 grains of weight on the string. So with a 350 grain arrow, this bow should be put at about 290 feet per second. But I'm expecting that that was done on the C setting, which is the more aggressive and faster setting on this cam. And we don't have it set on that. We have it set on B. So I expect that to drop down by 8 to 10 feet per second, probably on our speed test. So I expect it to be down around 280, 282, something like that for our speed test. So let's get into the specs on this bow. As the name states, this is Disruptor Pro 24 is a 24-inch axle to axle. It's actually 24 and 5/8, so a tad over 24 inches, and it is a short, compact, perfect for ground blinds, perfect for tree stands, perfect to put in a backpack and take on a backcountry stalk. It does not shoot like a 24-inch bow though. It feels like it has a longer axle to axle than what it does, which is what I love about these Gearhead bows. I've shot a ton of them, the longer ones, the shorter ones, the 20s and the 18s, and this 24 just really fits me and really feels fantastic for me when I have this thing at full draw. It just really fits me well. So this is a 24 and 5/8 inch axle to axle bow. This is available in 55 to 65 pounds of draw weight. It's also available in a 65 to 75 pound draw weight. It comes in a 26 to 30 inch draw length. Now they do offer a short draw version of this. The short draw version of this is available in a 45 to 55 pound draw weight, and it comes with is available in draw lengths of 23.5 to 27.5. So this has a 6.5 inch brace sight. That's perfect. I love the 6.5 inch brace sights for me and the way I shoot. And this has a 330 feet per second IBO rating. So let's talk about what kind of features of this bow has on it. Like I said, the cam has 3 different stops on here that you press this bow and you change your cable from A, B, or C. A is your less aggressive draw cycle and it's going to be your slower speed. B is your middle of the road. It's going to feel good on a draw cycle. It's going to be in the middle of the road as far as speed goes. And C is your more aggressive draw cycle and faster feet per second on there. So what this is going to do though is when you set this on C, when it's set on B, you're going to get what the limbs say on there. You're going to get the 55 to 65 pound draw weight. When you change it to C, you're going to get 4 to 5 more pounds of draw weight at. So it's going to bump this bow, which is a 55 to 65, up to about a 60 to 70 pound bow. If I change it to A, it's going to go down a little bit, so I would assume a 4 to 5 feet per second drop in draw weight as that goes down. So you're going to drop it down to then a 50 to 60 pound bow. So B is your middle of the road on everything. Middle of the road on draw weight, middle of the road on speed, middle of the road on smoothness. So I like the B setting so far, but we are going to shoot this bow in the future on A and C as well. This has a rotating draw module on it right up here, which is something on this draw module that I really like. It's easy to move and easy to get in the right slot. This draw module has a draw stop built into it. So if you take the limb stop, this also has limb stop on it. If you take that limb stop off, you still don't have to worry about these cams locking up and over rotating because the module is going to stop them. So when I was setting this thing up, what I did was I set the module up to my 27.5-inch draw length. I set the post up to where I actually left it at, this came in at 29. I actually left it on the 29-inch draw length for the cable, or I'm sorry, the limb stop, and I just drew it back a few times with it set up on the cable stop using the module to stop it, and I started to move this limb stop down until I got it to the position that I like, and that is going to adjust your let off. I have it set pretty much at the highest let off, so that's another thing that's going to affect the speeds a little bit. I have it set to where the limb stop rolls around and hits the limbs right before the cable stop on the module hits the cable. So each one of those is going to give you a different feel. If you have it set up with just the module on that stop, it's going to give you a little bit softer back wall. It's going to have a little bit of smush to it and a little bit of pull to it. If you have your limb stop set up, it's going to give you a harder back wall, more solid back wall, and a more solid stop. And as you adjust that limb stop closer to make it where the cam does not over rotate or rotate further, it's going to make your let off lower, but it's also going to make this bow shoot a little bit faster. So I'm going to toy with that a little bit and see what kind of speeds I can get out of it, and kind of find that middle ground for that nice comfortable back wall, but get the speeds that I'm hoping to get. Now if I get the speeds that I'm hoping to get it with it set where it is right now, I'll leave it alone. So absolutely no reason to mess with it if I get the speeds out of it that I'm wanting to get. So this bow is a short compact package, 4.25 pounds. It has these, I don't know what you'd call these, riser. It's a riser, but it's definitely a different kind of riser. You can see you're shooting out of the middle of this bow, and this has a bridge in between to support these two risers. These are made out of 70-75 aluminum. This has a stabilizer mount right here in the bottom, has a string stop, has a couple of dampeners built into the middle there. It's available in other colors. You can get all kinds of customized colors on this thing, but I liked the black, and I thought it looked pretty sharp in the black, especially with the limbs. I like the way they do the limbs, so I thought it looked pretty sharp. It has a couple different options on the grip. This is the standard grip. It also has a 1911 style grip, and it has a carbon grip as well. I've shot all the different grips over at Charlie Forbes's place in Joplin, Missouri, and I like each one of them. Each one of them feels really, really good to me, and I think that you can't go wrong really with each one that you're going to shoot. Now there's another cool feature about this bow. This bow is a right or left-handed bow. Because of the design of this riser, you can actually flip this thing over. They got good detailed instructions in their manual that comes with this bow, so I'm not going to go through them all, but you're going to have to press this bow, change some things around, and you can flip this thing over. You can take it to a shop and have it done. Flip this handle over, and you can turn this from a right-handed bow into a left-handed bow. As far as presses go, I want to mention it real quick that I was able to press this bow with my Last Chance Easy Green press. It was down at the bottom of it, but I was able to press this bow with my Last Chance Easy Green press to put in my my peep sight, and I checked it to see I can make all the adjustments I need to on the cam. So I got plenty of room on my Easy Green to do anything I want to do to this bow. So if you have that press, it'll work out just fine with it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to give you some close-ups of this bow and show you this unique, cool bow in up close and give you a good look at it. Then we're going to go over and shoot the chronograph a little bit, and we're just going to show you a little bit of me shooting it with some of my hunting weight arrows. Okay, we're going to take half a dozen shots or so here and just talk about how this bow feels and how it shoots. And again, this is set up at a factory setting, no stabilizer on the front. And we're going to be using my hunting arrows, which are 456 grains, I believe. So we're going to be using our hunting arrows, so it's going to give us a good feel for what we're going to experience in the field. Now, first thing that you're going to notice is a little bit different about this bow is loading it up. I generally will do the same motion that I'm doing now. That's how I load my arrows up on a traditional bow. But I know a lot of guys who load their bow up just like this and lay it across the riser. So it's a little bit different approach if you're doing that. But once you get used to it, it's really becomes muscle memory pretty fast, and it's not that big a deal. The handle sets back from the riser, and it is a shoot-through riser, so it looks different when you're at full draw. But again, it takes very, very little time to get used to that. The string angle is pretty steep. I didn't have any issues with the string angle. A lot of bows right now are really, really short, so it really wasn't an issue with me getting used to the string angle. I did, Gearhead does recommend using a larger peep, a 1/4 inch or a 3/8, I believe. Maybe it's 5/16 is what the next size up is. I used a 1/4 inch on all my bows, and I've had no issues with this 1/4 inch, and it seems to I have no problem seeing out of this. And I have this bow set up on our B post on the cam, and I have it set up to where the limb stop is rotating around and hitting just before the cable stop. So I mean, I got it as close to hitting before that cable stop as what it possibly can get, to get as much let off as I can get, which probably affected the speed when we were doing it, was putting that let off at that position. But that's what I like to hunt with, so that's what we're testing it with. Grip on this thing is really nice. The grip sets back, sets in the middle, so it's a little bit different, but it feels really, really good when you get it at full draw. And I've tried some of the other grips on this, the carbon grip, the 1911 grip. They're all really nice. Charlie Forbes over there at his archery shop in Joplin had all of them set up when I went over there and shot a few years ago, and I liked all of them. All of them felt really, really good. But I like this. It's got a good feel to it, good texture to it. Doesn't want to slip in my hand, doesn't want to move around, and really settles in nice. So when we talk about this draw cycle, we're talking about the draw cycle on B. Again, we're going to do a video that just covers A and just covers C, specifically the speeds and the draw cycles on those, so check back with those in the future for sure. So here we go. Let's sit a few arrows down range and quit talking. Draw cycle on this is very smooth. At 65 pounds, I'm able to draw this thing back. A little bit of a hump right there at the end, but it doesn't drop off. It doesn't have a huge valley in it, and it holds really nice. It's got a good solid back wall with it set up like that. Even with it set up with the limbs or the cable stop, has a really solid back wall to it. Then it's a little bit mushier than it is now, but really nice, really solid back wall. You can see, you can sit here and hold this thing for days with the way that it's set up now. As far as creep goes, and you can let up on it, and it doesn't want to take off. So that's really, really nice. I mean, this is a really, really good tree stand ground blind hunter's bow. You see there on the shot, very, very little movement to the bow at all. I kept my hand open as much as possible. I do have a tendency to kind of grab and close that hand, but I kept that hand open as much as possible. And keep in mind, with back tension, I'm pushing and pulling to get this thing to go off. So it had just a little bit of a top fall to it, which is exactly what I expect from a really balanced bow. No stabilizer on this bow. I might not put a stabilizer on this bow. It feels so good at full draw without a stabilizer on it, and balances out so nicely. I probably won't even put a stabilizer on this thing. So grip feels really good, settles into your hand. You can see there, I'm not having to make any kind of adjustments to it or anything like that. The grip feels really nice. Draw cycle feels really good too, and when you settle in with it, almost no pin float. I mean, almost no pin float at all. Bow pushed and away from me exactly like I expect it to, with this back tension release, and it stays really nice in your hand. So it's a really, really good balanced bow, and no hand shock, no vibration to it at all, even without a stabilizer on there. And I'm shooting what I would call a light to mid-weight bow. I'm definitely not shooting a super high weight arrow is what I meant to say. I'm sorry. I'm shooting a 450 grain arrow. So I'm not shooting something that's going to rob this bow or take a lot of vibration out of this bow or make this bow super, super quiet. Even with that 350 grain arrow that we were shooting to do the speed test on, still really quiet, still no vibration. It's just something in this design just takes a lot of noise out of it and a lot of the vibration out of it. You can see that hump right there at the end. It kind of builds up to it. The draw force curve on this is pretty steady. It builds, it hits that hump, and then it drops off nice and slow. It doesn't dump off. It has a nice slow drop. Right in that last, I don't know, probably 3 inches maybe of your draw is where it starts to kind of drop. Builds up probably about 8 to 10 inches from the end. It hits its peak and then starts to slowly drop off at that point there. You can see right there it's hitting its peak and then it starts to drop off. Hard to manage doing that draw, slow draw like that. But I mean, it's just a tack driver too as far as accuracy goes. This thing is stable, it's solid, good draw cycle, and just absolutely not something you expect out of a 24-inch bow to be as accurate as this bow is. And just as fun to shoot. I mean, you can see how much fun this thing is to shoot. When you go to some 3D shoots with this thing, everybody's going to want to shoot it. Everybody's going to want to look at it. So that's our shooting in this thing, and then let's go over, let's do a little summary on this and wrap this video up. Okay, so you can see there up close how unique and how cool this bow is. See there with the chronograph, it fell just a little bit short of what I was hoping to get, but again, set at 85% let off. If I adjust the let off a little bit, probably get those speeds up to where they should be. Again, if I adjusted it to C, I probably would get those right up to where they should be. So we're going to do that in the future and try those things out. But this bow shoots great. It shoots fantastic. Does not shoot like a 24-inch axle-to-axle bow like you expect it to shoot. It is solid at full draw. Has a really good draw cycle to it, a good handle to it. It's compact, it's lightweight, and it shoots fantastic. I mean, you see a lot of these things like this, and I know a lot of guys look at bows like this and think, oh, that's a gimmick, or it's something that I would never want to be able to shoot because it's not going to feel like a regular compound bow. But that's as far from the truth as you can get. This bow shoots lights out, and it shoots fantastic. I love the way it feels. I love the way it draws, and I love the way it shoots. It's just absolutely a blast to shoot this bow. And I tell you one thing, it's going to turn heads when you take this thing to a 3D shoot or an indoor shoot. Everybody's going to look at it, and everybody's going to want to shoot it. This bow's been tearing it up on the competition circuit too. The longer axle-to-axle bows, those guys like the longer gearheads, but they have been just tearing it up on the competition tournament scene, and I was really impressed by how well they're doing on the tournament scene. But this is a fantastic bow for tree stand hunting, for ground blind hunting, for packing in, you know, in out west and doing things like this. And I'll be honest with you guys, you'll notice that I'm not doing bow reviews like I used to do, and that's because bows are expensive and YouTube does not pay like it used to do. I cannot afford to go out and do 8 or 10 reviews like I used to do. So this year, when I sat down, I told myself I'm going to buy one bow, just like I did last year. I'm going to buy one bow, and I'm going to do a review on it and ask the bow I'm going to hunt with. So I started sitting down and looking at all the new bows, all the Bowtechs, all the Hoyts, all the Matthews, and the Bears, and things like that. And while they're fantastic bows, they make great bows, I got to thinking to myself, I'm like, what's the one bow that I've always wanted to shoot, always wanted to hunt with, and have not got the chance? And I came back to this Gearhead. And the more I thought about these Gearhead bows, the more excited I got. And I set myself up on a mission to get myself a Gearhead bow and try it out. And I am not disappointed with the choice that I've made. This is the bow I'm going to hunt with this year. It's the only bow that I'm going to buy this year. And I think I made the right choice because it shoots fantastic. And it shoots, it's so fun to shoot is what's amazing about it. It is absolutely fun to shoot. Just a blast to shoot. So That's the Gearhead Disruptor Pro 24. Unlike some of the other Gearheads out there that do not have adjustable limbs on them, adjustable draw weight, and adjustable modules, this one, that's what the difference between this and your standard Gearhead bows are. This one has the adjustable limbs on it, adjustable draw weight, and the adjustable draw length. And that's why I went with the Disruptor Pro, is because it got me a lot more versatility to it over the Disruptor and the other series of bows that they have out here. Now, we have a lot of future videos planned with this bow. We're going to put it on B and C or A and C and try to see what kind of speeds and what kind of feel we get out of those. The other thing that I'm going to do is, as I get people to come over, people bring me their bows to work on, and people come over to, you know, drink a beer or two or something like that, I'm going to get the video camera out and I'm going to put this bow in someone's hand, and I'm going to let them try it out. And I'm going to film them, and I'm going to get their honest reaction to this bow and see what they think of it, and get their opinion of it, and share that with you guys, so you guys can see more than my opinion of this Gearhead bow. But my opinion is a glowing review. I just love this bow. I absolutely can't say enough good things about it. So check this out. We'll put a link to Gearhead's website down in the description below, and you can check out the full lineup of Gearhead bows, and check back with us periodically as we make more videos. So please be sure to like, subscribe, and share these videos, and please be sure to check us out on social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook under Ike's Outdoors. We really appreciate you watching all these videos and spending your time with us, and we'll see you next time.